no idea who you people are.
Yeah, it's all, by the way,
That's
all it is
nuts.
like covering like CBS, ABC, maybe a couple cable dramas. Like it doesn't even get into the streaming services, so it's not even TV Guide. It's not even accurate.
It's
so I can't.
totally useless.
For me, it is. Yeah.
Completely useless. So, okay, so you have a bajillion. What are all the podcasts you produce?
So I'm still producing my own, which is turning 4 or 5. Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk.
I love it.
For work, my real job, even though that's like my side hustle and my part-time job, it's still plenty of hours.
Shut up. You had a live show, and like I was sick that night, and I felt so bad that I couldn't go. But like, you're killing it.
Thank you. I want to do another one. I'm coming up on another milestone episode, and I'm starting to put things into place to be able to have another event like that.
That's amazing. You had like a step and repeat. I mean, that is fancy.
Yeah, I wanted to really go all out. I wanted to invest, and I still have it. It's sitting in my closet, so it needs to go out for one other round to get my money's worth out of it. So that's happening. And then for my full-time job, I'm producing for NBC. So that's Inside Salem: Days of Our Lives podcast, which is not as popular as The Good Place, the podcast. I previously produced a show for American Ninja Warrior, which was, whatever. And now we're developing and planning this big special show we're going to do for Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That's amazing. It's a funny show, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, and it's taking up all my time. But it's good, yeah.
No, so what do you do? Let me ask, because a lot of people ask me, because I have a podcast called Things We're Too Lazy to Blog About, and people will ask, like, how do you start a podcast? How do you do that? So, but I feel like, this is like your job. You can give better advice than I can. So if someone wants to start a podcast, what do you recommend that they do?
Well, format is key, but also you have to have it in your head that your show does not need to be an hour. It doesn't need to be like, 45 minutes. Just to get started, like, hone a format that you can do in a short amount of time where it's quick so people know what they're getting. I don't really love super long format shows just because I feel like that is kind of a format that's kind of come and gone, unless I feel like you're like some of these big guys. Obviously, the top podcasts are super long.
Well, Joe Rogan, it's like 4.5 hours. I'm like, who listens to 4.5 hours of this? Like, how bad is your, and I like that I like some episodes of that podcast, but like, how long is your commute? And you need to move.
Yeah, and that's a lot, like to keep up with, like that. Think of like you have like 2 or 3 of those sitting for you to wait. Like you're not going to listen to them. And now, not only that, there are so many podcasts out there now, and they're all talking about every topic. That having a shorter one is more attractive when you're scrolling through and you're like, okay, I want to hear about. I don't know why you would, but I want to hear about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills finale. And you're like, there are 8 podcasts right now who talked about it. But there's one that's like 20 minutes. I'm going to be in the car for 25 minutes. I'm going to listen to that versus like a 2-hour, hour and a half, whatever. So it's like that's really important too, is like everyone's talking about a lot of the same stuff. So you got to be competitive.
It's more efficient.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, how do we feel about, let's be honest, this season was painful.
Oh, I have been not nice about it. I've actually been mean about it because it's gotten me really angry. I think it's a terrible season. I think the show should be considered up for cancellation. If not, they're going to get rid of everybody on the show. I don't like any of them anymore. Nothing's happened. There's a 3-part reunion coming. I don't know if it's going to be like Bars and Tone, but like, I don't know what they're... I don't know what they're going to put on. And I hope to hell that they don't do the secrets reveal, the bonus content episode. Because there's nothing left to show.
Those are an abomination.
Do not bother. Even on a good season, I don't want to see it.
Oh, I hate that. There was something, what was there? It was on it was like behind the scenes or what you did. Yeah, we saw everything.
Behind the scenes.
I actually just stopped, I deleted it. I was like, I don't even want this on my DVR. I'm not gonna, look, I have 1,700 episodes of House Hunters on my DVR. I'd rather watch, a couple argue about if they want, a bad home, a worse home, or, a complete shithole, than watch that behind the scenes of Beverly Hills.
I don't want to see the original episode. I don't care about behind the scenes. No, I'm good.
It's just, am I bad to say I don't like Dorit? I just want her to go away. I know people like her because she's kind of the villain, but I also am just like, you don't interest me. I don't relate to you.
Yeah, here's the thing about Dorit. Dorit, she's the one that needs the show the most. She needs it to be relevant.
Thirst monster.
Yeah.
And from one thirst monster to another.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I mean, the others, though, it's like a gig. So they've got, who has a QVC line, who has a clothing line, who's doing this project, that project. And then they have the reality show to kind of accompany that. But Dorit, she is a household name because of the show. She needs the show to be able to get in front of this coveted Kitson window from 15 years ago.
I know. It's so funny because I was on my way here a while ago. I was at an event and I was driving on Robertson and I was like, wow, this is a ghost town. But I went into one store because it was closing and everything was 75% off. And I'm like, I need some t-shirts.
There you go.
But
that's
was
what
like,
Robertson's become.
It said she was so excited for something that would have been really an accomplishment in 2008.
Yeah. Or less. Yeah, really. I mean, but good for her, I guess. I mean, someone's going to pay all those legal bills, and now their accounts are all frozen. So, I mean, hopefully she's selling bathing suits.
I know.
It's summer season.
I have a feeling it's not doing.
Yeah.
I don't think things are like faring too well for her.
No.
Erica Jane, though, now she is like the Fabletics, Shoe Dazzle. It's all the same company,
it's all
by
the
the
same
way.
thing. Yeah, with her, she's another one. She hasn't contributed anything to the season. She doesn't want to even engage in a conversation. And like I say often, she's just sitting there. She's getting paid big money to sit there and do nothing. But the thing is,
she's living my dream.
I feel like you tell people's story though. Like we know about the husband. We're not going to see the son. We know about the touring and the albums and the music and the glams. We've saw now like 800 wigs. So what is left? I'm fine with her being a friend of, but we don't need to be doing a full-time situation.
I liked her the first few seasons because I liked a scrappy girl. I love a rags to riches kind of story.
I do too, yeah.
She sort of reminds me a little bit of a richer Kim Zolciak.
Yeah, I get that. They're in different categories, but I see it.
You were just smart enough and just talented enough and just clever enough to brand the hell out of yourself and give yourself a really good life. And I admire that. And I think she was really bored being what's his name? Aaron Brockovich's bosses.
Oh yeah, the wife.
I forgot her husband. Yeah.
Tom Girardi. Yeah.
Tom Girardi's Erica Girardi seemed like she had a really boring life. And then I feel like she just took a bunch of Molly and was like, screw this. I'm doing reality TV.
Yeah, I can't knock her hustle. I mean, she's had so much success. But I mean, we saw it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, that's good. Keep doing your thing. I'm sure she'll continue to sell out. But as far as the show goes, to me, Beverly Hills is on life support, and they need to figure something out.
Oh, it's like beeping, and we're like, just pull the plug.
That's what I'm
Trip
saying.
over the plug.
That's what I'm saying. At this point,
turn off the electricity in this building. This is over.
It really is, and I don't know if you saw the finale. Have you seen this season finale?
I did. I was half awake.
Well, it wrapped up really nicely where they could just leave it on a shelf and let it sit for a long time. Like, there's no reason to go back. Like, they're all free around each other and friends, and Lisa Vanderpump's drinking coffee with the dogs, and it was like a nice ending. Leave it there. I don't care.
And they lived happily never after.
And I couldn't care less. Yeah.
No, but New York was good this season.
So good. I'm sad that it's over, but also it's good to unlike Beverly Hills, they leave you wanting more. So I'm like, okay, I'm gripped for the reunions, and then I'll wait for it to come back.
I am excited for I love Bethany. She's my spirit animal.
Yeah, I actually didn't love her in the beginning. Believe it or not, I thought she was whiny and complaining. There's always a crisis.
No.
And there is always a crisis. God bless her.
I know, but you're right. Bethany, always a crisis wrinkle.
Always. But she adds so much levity to that show, and she's such real talk when all these other women are so immature and head in the clouds. She definitely balanced on that show. They need her on that show.
You know what it is? She hasn't always had it easy, and I think she's earned every penny she's made. And I also think her ex-husband sounds like a complete monster.
He sounds like an animal. I mean, I don't know what good luck. I mean, how the hell old is that kid they have? She'll never get
9. Wait, not only that, so I feel so bad. She was finally able to show him on Instagram, and someone posted a picture of Bryn in a private Facebook group. Looks just like the husband.
Oh, the same face.
Every time she looks at his face, there's Jason Hoppy. Oh.
Ugh, that's the worst. That's the worst when they don't even look like you, and you're like the sane one. You're the one making the money and all that.
It's kind of just like the irony. It's like, I don't know if she's a billionaire, but she's got private plane money, so I don't feel too bad for her. And it's just like, that's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Like they say on the Lady Gang, God is fair. God is
That's
fair.
accurate, especially for her. I mean, her life, it's like more money, more problems. I feel like the more she has, there's these high-stake problems, people that come in out of her life. I mean, Dennis' situation was tragic.
Tragic.
I mean, she's got everything, but is she happy? I don't know. I can't look at someone like Bethany and be like, that's a happy person. I don't know.
You know what though? She's ambitious, she's scrappy, and she always like makes it out alive. And that's kind of what she doesn't need the Real Housewives. That's what I like. It's like, oh, this is like her fun job.
That's the difference, yeah.
And then the other people have no job. Or their life's a cabaret with Luann.
You know, I'm on this whole shtick recently, I should say recently, with these people who don't have jobs, especially on these shows, The Housewives. And what do you do for money? I'm so sick of seeing lifestyles and nobody goes to work. Nobody does anything. And like that comes back to like my love for Vicki Gunvalson, because she's always like, well, I don't see anybody working. What do you do? Do you work? What do you do?
Now she's not even...
Oh, I can't even get into that.
I can't watch OC. You know what? I can't. I'm sorry to say, Shannon Beador ruined OC for me.
Really?
There's something about her that makes me physically ill. Yeah. And like the whininess and the self-hate and the
She's a lot. If you don't want it, good luck.
Can you just wear cute outfits and pretend to argue and like turn it down a little bit? And like, at least, I'm not a big fan of Vicki, but it's like, she's excited. We're going to Mexico. That was like that thing.
Not only that, she's an original. She's an original cast member.
OG of the
OG and the OG of all the, she's the only original left. Like, that is a position that should be respected. Love her or hate her. I mean, she was there in the beginning, the very first episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. She's the first one in the opening. So it's like, come on, you could just throw her a bone. You know, I think it's ridiculous they got rid of her. And I did a whole special episode on my podcast about it, breaking down. We talked about some of maybe the decisions that came into that and what it all means for other OG original cast members. And I'm not a fan of that decision at all.
I miss Lori. I know she's from 800 years ago.
Yeah.
But like, can they bring her back? Every now and then you'll see something terrible about her on Radar, and then I feel like garbage because it's like, well, Amanda, you're reading Radar. Do you think you're going to read anything positive?
Right.
I mean, like, it's my bad.
When was the last time we saw her? Was it I've never had multiple partners in my life in Whistler? Was that the last time we saw her?
She was on like for 5 minutes, like 7 years ago, I feel like. But I don't know.
Talk about another one, always a tragedy. That's another one that's always having something going on. From the very start, from the minute we met her to today.
I know, but I don't know. There's just something about her that seems like very, very real. I mean, like from the really old episodes from like 10 years ago.
Right.
But so what are your other favorite shows to talk about on your podcast?
Well, I talk a lot about, I mix in Bravo. So it's like a mix of Bravo Daily Dish and Page 6. So it's like, you know, we keep everything short and sweet too. So it's like 10 minutes. If you don't care about Lindsay, then wait 5 minutes and we'll talk about, you know, this Britney conservatorship stuff that's going on, which is like crazy. I don't know if you're following this story, but.
A little bit.
Oh, it's another whole legal mess. It's interesting to follow because there's two different teams of hers that are infighting and she's in the middle and she doesn't have access to the internet and it's a whole thing. So there's a lot of like things to follow there. As far as TV shows go, I am watching The Hills for whatever it's worth.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. It makes me so happy. Maybe because I don't have much else going on in my life, but I love The Hills. People are saying it's not getting a second season, and I'm like, you don't curse it. You don't curse that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love Spencer. Do you know Naha, who was Spencer? She was doing the crystals.
No.
I'm going to intro you to her. She should go on your show. She's.
Yeah.
I think you might have some other mutual friends with her, but she was doing that like crystal grid on him, and they didn't even like credit her. I'm like, what? This is like a major crystal figure in the LA world.
Yeah, and that's his thing. So you think that would be like,
and it's always been his thing, even before it was cool.
Right. I'm getting into all that stuff. I mean, I meditate, but like I never really was super into all that. And then I took this class recently, and it was like, wow, I get it. There's certain energy about those.
The Den or Unplug.
Unplug, yeah. We talked about this, I think, in the past. I've been to the Den as well, but I enjoy going there because I don't have this discipline to do it on my own. I have to be like, it's like in a room, sitting there with music, a CD playing. You know,
I'm the worst.
I can't.
I try to meditate. I wrote an article about meditating 30 days in a row, so I would actually do it.
Yeah.
And my editor knew. She's like, you're just doing this to be accountable. And I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
I
had to really train myself because I remember the first couple of classes, I was like, this isn't gonna happen. Like I've got like 6 things to do and I'm sitting here doing nothing. But like now that it's been about 2 or 3 years, I really can feel my brain, like the list gets shorter and shorter. It's like when you delete the trash folder, you see it kind of delete. It's like then I'm able to be like really, I hate to use the word clear because when I hear a Scientology term, but it's like, you know, you have a nice open mind and then you're able to meditate.
I really I used to be very obsessed with someone who's now, it kills me that he's a controversial figure, but Noah Levine. Formerly of Against This. I saw there was something in LA Magazine about him, and he sort of got me too'd, but you know, I've been in rooms alone with him multiple times and have never had a problem with him. And my personal experience has always been really pleasant. But he does meditation stuff, and it's Buddhist. I mean, but it's not super weird and it's not super woo. Yeah. And I kind of like that. So I miss going to his I should go. I could go, but you know, as in LA, it's in Venice.
Oh, that's a whole day. Forget it.
It's a whole day. It's a whole thing. And I'm just like, you know what? I give up. Like, it's no longer convenient to me. It's like I would drive an hour to go meditate for 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's what I do with, there's one on the west side, and it's like I always am in traffic, and by the time I get home, it undoes any type of peace that I had. So forget it.
I want to like go home and take a nap after meditating instead of like hitting traffic. It's the worst.
It undoes the whole idea of going, because then I'm right back on that edge where I'm like on, you know, friggin' Wilshire Boulevard for an hour to go across 3 streets. So that, I can't.
There are people in Iowa watching this cursing us right now. They are like turning this.
Listen, the people in Iowa, you don't even know.
You don't know traffic. You don't know LA.
No, this is our life. This is the lifestyle that
they're
we have.
like, we have snow. We have real problems. And then there's
I can't. Yeah. This is the daily struggle for real though. I mean, it takes up all my free time is lost. But anyway.
Gosh. So where can people find you on your social, and where can people find your bajillion podcasts that you produce?
Well, I'm always ranting, so I do the Insta stories.
I love your rants.
But thank you. I do the Insta stories, but the main thing is the podcast, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk. You can find it wherever you can find a podcast. Give it a Google search. You can stream it online. You can listen to it on an app. You can whatever. It's audio only, obviously. Then there's, if you're a viewer of Days of Our Lives, there's Inside Salem Days of Our Lives.
People are still, AfterBuzz still does a show. My friend hosts it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and the show does well. I mean, I enjoy producing it. It's fun to do a soap because it's not so serious, you know. And then there's the sitcoms. So there's the other one, The Good Place, the podcast. And now we're doing off-season stuff. So we had Lin-Manuel Miranda on recently to talk about his fandom for the show.
Oh my God!
And he was a really good interview. He talked about his projects and all of that. So we're doing this kind of off-season stuff until September when season 4 begins, and then we'll have all new episodes.
Wait, who else has been on there that's like a big name?
He was our biggest. Other than the cast, like obviously Ted and Kristen from The Good Place are on there, but we had on Paul Scheer. Mike O'Malley has an episode, I believe, that's coming out shortly. And who else did we have? Busy Phillips was on as well. So it's a little all over the map, if you will.
It's exciting. No, you're doing so many amazing things, and I'm so happy for you, and you deserve it.
Thank you very much. And this is a great setup for you too. This is your thing.
Thank you. What are your social media handles?
It's at It's Grant's Rants. ITS Grant's Rants.
On Insta and Twitter.
And Twitter, yeah. And then the rants continue throughout the day on there. And then the podcast
I know,
is on
you're,
Mondays.
like, look, if you're into Twitter, this guy's always on Twitter. Like, I don't know how to reach you anyway other than Twitter.
I know, that's how we set
It's
this
really,
up.